Hi everyone, welcome to My Opinions Are Trash. Today I will be ranking the characters from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I made my rankings of the 2003 characters a while ago, and I decided to make a separate video for Brotherhood since the characters are very different. With that in mind, I'd also like to clarify that I am not hating on either version because I love both of them, and also there will be major spoilers ahead if you haven't seen this. So, with all that aside, let's start with the worst character in either version, which is Shao Tucker. Shao Tucker sucks no matter what. I do hate him less here because he at least doesn't come back. 47. General Raven's arrogance gets on my nerves, and he really just got what he deserved. The hatred I have for him is really the equivalent I have for Archer in 2003. 46. That creepy-ass doctor, do I need to say anything else? 45. I honestly don't get the appeal of Kimberly. He gets on my nerves. 44. Yoki also gets on my nerves. 43. Father Cornello is more tolerable in this version, but he's still pretty irritating. 42. Now, we all know how I feel about the 2003 Sloth. This one, however, I felt like was one of the least interesting characters, especially as far as the villains go. That may be the point, considering he's supposed to be lazy, but I just felt like his character was useless. Okay, so I really don't hate any of these other characters, but some of them I found to either be more annoying or less interesting than some of the others. 41. I felt sorry for Mrs. Bradley, but her ignorance was also kind of painful to watch at times. 40. I am sorry to those who like him, but I found Father to be kind of a letdown of a villain. He's just your standard bad guy with the god complex. I get his whole thing where he secretly wanted a family, but we didn't get to see much of that until later. And honestly, I just found him to be kind of boring and overpowered. That's just me, though. 39. I liked what they did for Rose here. She was a lot less annoying in this version, and she actually learned how to stand on her own 2 feet. I'm glad they did that for her. 38. He's alright. He's just kind of boring as he's easily overshadowed by the other characters. 37. Pride was alright. Just your standard creepy-ass child. I didn't really like him as much as some of the others, though. 36. Gluttony is one of those who I find to be gross, but also cute at the same time. There really isn't much to him here. 35. What's there to say? She wasn't really a bad character, but really just another one who got overshadowed by some of the others. 34. I really hate how they did her character here. She was really just killed off too quickly without much development. 33. Sheska's adorable, and you can see she's helpful. She just didn't really serve much of a purpose in this version. 32. Barry the Chopper was a fun character here. It was nice to see more of him in this series. 31. Gracia isn't seen much, but you know that she genuinely loves her family and the Elric brothers. 30. Greed's Chimeras. They were all interesting to watch, and we could tell they had a close relationship with him. I just wish they could have gotten more screen time. 29. Nina will always be one of the most tragic characters in the series. Here she was only in 1 episode, but that was enough for her to be memorable and for her character to be a strong turning point for the brothers. 28. Marco is so genuinely helpful to everyone in the show, whether it's to May, Scar, or Mustang. 27. Even though she's not alive throughout the series, in the flashbacks we can tell she's a good mom, and I loved how much she cared about Hohenheim and was understanding of his situation. 26. I definitely like them better in this version. I'm glad we got to see them as being more than comic relief, and we got to see how loyal they really are towards Mustang. While they weren't the main characters, they did serve a good enough purpose in the story this time. 25. I really liked seeing her relationship with Hohenheim and the Elric brothers. 24. I like how much he cares about his country, and even going so far to refuse immortality for the sake of everyone else. I'm really glad he got the ending he got. So, the rest of this list was so hard to make because this show is full of so many good characters. So, 23. All of the other Chimeras. We get to see so much from them fighting to becoming allies. They also served as great comic relief and had some kick-ass fight scenes. 22. King Bradley is one of the coolest homunculi here. He had an interesting backstory, and I like to see how he genuinely does care about his wife. He had so much potential here, but I don't think he got as much development as I wish he did. 21. Ross is a good character. She's one of the most selfless people we see in the show, and I always liked when she came on screen. I just wish we could have seen more of her relationship with Edward here like we did in 2003. 20. Hughes really would be higher up, but I felt like his storyline was kind of rushed here, and we didn't really get to develop as strong of a connection to him as we could have. We got so much time to watch him build his relationship with Ed Allen Winry in 2003, and I really hate that we don't get to see that near as much as this one. I do love the character. He is the one who you hope gets everything good, and it's really sad when you see that he doesn't. Also, like Nina, his character definitely helped drive the story further. 19. He is one of the greatest husbands in the show, and I love seeing how much he cared for Izumi. He also had such a kick-ass fight alongside Armstrong, and I really enjoyed their dynamic as well. 18. Envy will always be one of my favorites, whichever series he's in. However, I really do not like his true form in this one. And I'm sorry to say this, but I liked his 2003 storyline better, but he is still such a fun character, whichever version, and he is still one of the best villains for sure. 17. Miles and Buccaneer have to tie. I love them both so much. They are both very honorable and respectable characters, and they are so cool from the moment we see them. I could watch a series about them by themselves. 16. I am really happy that Havoc served a better purpose in this series. His and Mustang's fight with Lust made me love his character so much more. I love their relationship, even when he's in the hospital and we see him decide to retire. I thought that was an interesting storyline for everything going on. I am really glad he was able to have some better development rather than just being the silly dude who gets rejected by girls all the time. 15. He is one of my favorite characters. Even though he's an old man, he had some really good fight scenes, and I loved his loyalty towards Ling. And whenever he sacrificed himself, that was a really heartbreaking scene. It was great for his character, too. 14. Scar will always be one of the best developed characters. He's obviously done some regrettable things, and he does not in any way try to sugarcoat that. He is well aware of what he did, and while also having so much trauma himself. The relationship he builds with the other characters like May, and even him talking Mustang out of revenge, I just love how well developed he became by the end of the series. 13. Everything I hated about Winry in 2003 was fixed in this series, and I love that so much. My biggest complaint about her in 2003 was that she was too whiny and she didn't really help any of the characters or really serve a purpose. All of this changed here, and she turned out to be one of my favorites. She's strong, she's proven herself to be an amazing mechanic, she's useful to everyone. We get to see her outsmart Kimberly. She's quick to call the Elrics on their bullshit whenever they get on that. She also had a much better change in character, and I just love her in this series. They made the right call. 12. Alphonse is adorable, and he genuinely cares about everyone, especially his brother. He has a strong set of morals, he's always willing to help people, and he would sacrifice anything for his brother. 11. I really liked May's character. Even though she appears to be a little girl, she is also one of the strongest ones in the show. And also, there were some moments where she seemed to be the only one who knew what she was doing, and I really liked that. 10. I love Armstrong. He seems to be used for comic relief, but you can see that he's so much more than that, and he's really one of my favorite characters all around. Just seeing how much he cares about everyone, including his sister, who is low-key kind of mean to him. 9. He is the most interesting homunculus, and we get to see him develop a sense of who he is from the very beginning. He's one of the coolest characters in the series, and it's easy for us to like him. 8. Izumi will always be one of the coolest characters. She's obviously a strong, badass woman who will do anything for those she loves, and anything she was in was interesting, and I liked watching her kick ass. 7. Since Edward is the main character, he also likely had the most growth in the series. His drive to help his brother is one of the things that make him so likable. He's also a badass, and you can't help but get excited every time he's on screen. 6. Juan is one of my favorites. She's a strong fighter, and she loves Ling so much, you can see what she's willing to sacrifice for him. 5. While I hated his character in 2003, Hohenheim turned out to be one of my favorites in Brotherhood. He is a strong, well-rounded character. We see everything from his backstory to understanding why he left and what he was going after. You know he would do anything for his family, and he is so strong and powerful. He really does want to help people, and his character is really sad when you think about it. Watching all of this, I really hate how 2003 made him out to be a deadbeat hypocrite, when you see here he is so much more than that. I'm glad his character got some real development and personality, making him live up to his hype in the world. As everyone talks about how great he is, in this one we actually get to see him prove it. 4. Ling is one of those who, when you first see him, he's kind of goofy and ridiculous, but there's so much more to him, and you get to see that throughout. He's probably the funniest character, but also one of the most respectable ones. He values his country as well as those who serve him. I respect him so much. 3. I love this woman so much. She's a badass, and so much so that I can't help liking her from the moment I see her. That alone makes me love her, but also because she has strong morals and is respectable. She's intelligent, she knows how to get what she wants. Plus, she cares about her soldiers. She will make sure she goes down before any of them do. 2. Hawkeye is one of the most lovable characters. She comes off as a badass, but she also has such a strong dedication to the Colonel. You can see that she would do anything for him in every single move she makes. Not only the Colonel, but she cares about everyone, including the Elric brothers. I really just love how loyal and selfless her character is. Everything you see of her, from flashbacks to her fighting alongside Mustang, I just love watching how much she has his back and what she's willing to give for the sake of others. She also understands that she is flawed and that she's committed unforgivable acts, but she doesn't try to sugarcoat it for the sake of making herself look better, and I think that makes her one of the best characters in the show. 1. Mustang is by far the most interesting character to watch in the show, and that says a lot. From the beginning, he knows what he's doing, and he's dedicated so much time into plotting a rebellion against such a corrupt government. Badass isn't even the word. I just love seeing how far he's willing to go for everyone around him, especially Hawkeye and Hughes. Not only them, but his whole country, everyone in the military. He risked everything so many times just so he could help people, even those he wasn't even that close to. Like Riza, he also understands that he has his own faults, and he's willing to accept the consequences for it without even trying to paint himself as someone else. There's so much love I have for this character in both series, but I feel like here's where we really got to see it. Well, I'm sorry it took so long. I have been hella busy. Also, feel free to comment your own opinions below. Thank you for watching.